Have you ever walked down a familiar street in your town and just wondered how much history is really in those everyday buildings, the ones you pass all the time, or even the names on the storefronts?
Right, like what stories could those bricks tell if they could talk? Stories of maybe ambition or tragedy.
Exactly. Resilience, too. Well, today we're taking a deep dive into exactly that. It's a journey into the really rich intertwined histories of some key families and landmark buildings in Waverly, New York.
Mm.
Specifically, we'll be looking into the legacy of a pretty remarkable designer and builder, Azariah J. Van Natta.
And the Knapp family's department store, a real institution for ages.
Yes, and the really dramatic life of the town clock block. Quite a story there.
And we're piecing this together from a fantastic collection of sources. We've got historical excerpts, really detailed newspaper clippings, census records, even extensive genealogical research.
So this isn't just a quick glance.
No, not at all. It's a granular look, almost microscopic, really. It lets us get a real feel for the lives and the impact these people and places had.
Okay, so our mission here is pretty straightforward. We want to uncover some of the surprising facts, the pivotal moments that shaped this community.
And help you understand how individual ambitions, family legacies, how they literally built the foundations of the town piece by piece.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start with the man whose vision really shaped so much of Waverly's early look, Azariah J. Van Natta.
Right. His family's story, interestingly, goes way back. Traces back to Jacob Jansen of Etten, born in Holland, 1632, before they came to America.
Wow, okay. And Azariah himself.
He was born closer to home in Barton, New York, December 15th, 1827. And he married Corlista Ames in 1850.
Now, what's interesting is his early career, right? He didn't start out as a builder.
No, he was, and I quote, brought up on the farm. But then he made a decisive shift. He located himself in Waverly as a carpenter.
You can sort of see that change in the records.
You can, actually. The 1860 census lists him as a lumberman. Just 5 years later, 1865, he's clearly defined as a carpenter.
So moving from just supplying the wood to actually shaping it.
Precisely. It feels like a real pivot, showing his ambition, maybe, to shape the actual built environment.
And he settled right in Waverly, built his own place.
It seems very likely he built his own home at 152 Chemung Street, probably around 1865. Kind of a showcase of his work, perhaps?
Makes sense.
Lived there about 5 years. Sold it in July 1870 for, well, $5,100. A pretty good sum then.
Yeah, definitely.
Then he moved over to 441 Pennsylvania Avenue. So, it hints at some early success, maybe a bit of an entrepreneurial streak, even with his own houses.
But his professional impact went way beyond his own home. He got involved in some really significant projects.
Oh, absolutely. His mark on Waverly is, well, indelible. Take 1873, DeWitt Slaughter hired him to design and rebuild the house at 208 Chemung Street. And it was specifically a wedding gift for Samuel Slaughter and Charlotte Wells. So his work is getting tied up in these really important family milestones.
It's not just a building, it's part of their story.
Exactly. Then, 1876, he's supervising the construction of the new primary school on Lincoln Street, overseeing the job for Mr. Larnard.
So education infrastructure, too.
And his final really big project as a contractor, completed in 1880, was the Waverly Waterworks.
Wow, the waterworks.
Yeah, a massive undertaking. Cost $40,000 back then. So he's shaping the town's essential modern infrastructure at that point.
That's quite a range. A fancy house, a school, a whole water system. But was he just the builder, the contractor, or was he actually designing these places too? Like the vision behind them?
Oh, definitely designing. He was truly an architect in that sense. He designed and constructed several other really prominent Waverly buildings.
Okay, like which ones?
We're talking about the Shipman Building, the Merriam Block, the building that Simon Zosmer occupied, and, importantly, the Town Clock Block, which we'll get back to. Also, the original Methodist Episcopal Church, and even the back part of the old Baptist Church.
So he was really laying down the architectural DNA of the town center.
You could absolutely say that, shaping its look and feel.
Amazing. So a huge professional impact. What about his personal life outside of all this building?
Well, he certainly had a full life. His kids made their own marks, too. E. Claire went into the coal business.
Okay.
And 2 sons, John C. and Edwin H. They both became druggists, pharmacists.
Ah, interesting.
His wife, Corlista, she passed away in February 1912. And Azariah himself lived a long life, dying in May 1913 at 85.
85.
Yeah, and he was active right up there, involved in community affairs, leadership roles in Masonic lodges, so committed not just to the buildings, but the civic life of Waverly, too.
It's fascinating how that family influence then branches out. Azariah builds the town, and his son John C. becomes a fixture in its commercial life. Tell us about John C.'s career as a druggist.
Right, John C. Vanatta had this incredibly long, stable career, a leading druggist. Started as a clerk for Slaughter and Wells.
Okay, working for others first.
But quickly became a partner in Slaughter and Vanatta, and then eventually he was the sole proprietor of the corner drugstore at 337 Broad Street.
Yeah, corner drugstore. A classic small-town feature.
Absolutely. Oh, what's really amazing is his longevity. He spent 58 years in the same business, on the exact same spot.
58 years.
Yeah, from when he was just 14 until he died in 1937 at 77.
Wow. He must have seen some changes.
Oh, definitely. His recollections give this unique window into Waverly's transformation, from wooden crosswalks to paved streets, and changes in the drugstore business itself over half a century.
Incredible perspective.
And here's another interesting connection. The building itself, 337 Broad, was actually owned by Samuel Slaughter's daughter, Gertrude Slaughter Knapp, until 1946.
Ah, Knapp. So even though Vanatta ran the business?
Right, the property ownership stayed within that interconnected web of Waverly's prominent families. Slaughter, Vanatta, Knapp.
That's a perfect transition because the Knapp family is the other huge thread here. How did they establish their department store, and how does it tie back to Vanatta?
Well, Joseph Warren Knapp, he was a Civil War veteran, started a grocery business back in 1866,
Okay.
gradually expanded, moved into dry goods, and then by 1890 he established Knapp's department store. And it was right there at the corner of Fulton and Broad Streets.
And that location is key, isn't it?
It is, because that was the town clock building, the very one Azariah Vanatta had designed and rebuilt after the fire.
Wow. So Knapp sets up shop in a Vanatta-designed landmark, a direct link.
Exactly. Vanatta builds the stage, Knapp runs the show there for decades.
And it wasn't just Joseph W. Knapp, right? This was a real family dynasty.
Oh, absolutely. Knapp's was multi-generational through and through. You had Joseph W., then his sons, Harry W., Joseph W. Jr., George B., Ralph W.
Quite a team.
And then later, grandsons T. Phillips Knapp and J. Warren Knapp III were involved. It really underscores their deep commitment, their central role in the community for, generations.
And there's another connection, a really sad one, that weaves these families, Vanatta, Slaughter, Knapp, even tighter, involving that house Azariah designed.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
In 1927, George Brinker Knapp, one of Joseph W.'s sons, died tragically. An accidental shotgun discharge.
Oh, no.
And it happened at 208 Chemung Street.
The very house.
The very house Azariah Vanatta had designed and rebuilt for the Slaughters decades before.
That's quite a coincidence.
It gets even more layered. Because later on, Ronald C. Vanatta, who was Azariah's grandson, actually rented part of that same house.
No way. So Azariah's grandson lived in the house his grandfather designed, where this tragedy involving the Knapp family, who occupied another Vanatta building, occurred.
Exactly. It's just a striking, almost uncanny reminder of how these families, their properties, their joys, their tragedies, they all just became intertwined over time.
Knapp's department store really sounds like it was more than just a store, an institution. How did that long run finally end?
It did end. It closed its doors in October 1961, after 87 years.
87 years. Why did it close?
Mostly cited health reasons within the family. T. Phillips Knapp, one of the grandsons, famously called it the toughest decision we have been called upon to make in our lifetimes.
I can imagine.
He said closing felt like losing old friends. It truly marked the end of an era for downtown Waverly, served 3 generations of customers, left a big hole.
Speaking of downtown landmarks and big holes, let's focus right on the heart of Waverly. The town clock block itself, 301 Broad Street. This building housing Knapp's, it had its own dramatic history. Starting well before Knapp's even closed, there was a fire early on.
Oh yeah, a major one. Before it was really known as the town clock block, it was the Campbell block. And it suffered a really severe fire on May 26, 1883.
How bad was it?
Pretty bad. It badly damaged the upper stories, the roof. Basically gutted a significant part of the building. A huge blow to downtown.
Okay, so disaster strikes. And this is where Azariah Vanatta comes back into the picture again, right? Connecting his legacy directly to this absolute core building.
Exactly. After that fire, the decision was made not just to rebuild, but to, well, make a statement. They decided to incorporate a big public clock.
Ah, the town clock.
The plan was ambitious, much handsomer cornice, a tower nearly twice as high as the old one, and this town clock to be added in 1883.
And Venata.
He was the designer for this rebuild. Our man Azariah Venata was central to bringing this iconic structure back, even better than before, cementing his legacy right on Waverly's most recognizable landmark.
What a symbol of resilience. Now, the clock itself, we think of clocks as automatic now, but back then...
Not at all. It needed constant attention for about 40 years, actually, until they electrified it in the late 1930s.
So until the late 30s.
Had to be manually wound.
Yeah.
Twice a week.
By who?
By the Simon-Zalzmer family. We mentioned them earlier. They had a business nearby.
Winding that huge clock twice a week?
Yeah. There's a great little story that Mr. Zalzmer would sometimes invite customers to just try to wind it, basically trying to rope them into helping out.
Huh. I bet that was hard work.
Must have been. Shows the real human effort behind maintaining these civic symbols back then.
So it was a lot of work. Did the clock mechanism ever cause any more dramatic problems?
It did, actually. There was a pretty notable incident in 1924. An 800-pound weight cable broke.
800 pounds.
Yep. And it crashed right down through the third floor of Knack's department store below.
Ooh. Seriously? Right into the store?
Right into the store. Imagine the commotion. After that, when they repaired it, they extended a conduit for the weights way down into the cellar, presumably to stop that from happening again.
Smart move. Just another hidden story inside those walls. So Knapp's eventually closes in '61. Did the building stay empty?
No, not for long. It saw a succession of tenants, mostly furniture stores, actually, over the next couple of decades. Kobacker Furniture moved in first, from '61 to '72. Then briefly, J Furniture. Then Norm Anders's Home Beautiful in '73. And finally, Simons and Abrams Furniture Store from '78 to '80.
So it remained a commercial center just with different names on the door.
Right. It was still a hub.
And then tragedy struck again. And this time, it was final for the old building.
Yes. March 16, 1980. A truly devastating fire. It didn't just destroy the town clock block.
Oh, no.
It also took the country woodshed bar next door, which historically was the old Waverly Opera House.
Wow, the Opera House, too.
And the Simons and Abrams Furniture Store that was in the clock block. The fire was incredibly intense. That 104-year-old town clock, the symbol of the town, it just toppled inside the burning building.
Oh, heartbreaking.
It was described as possibly the worst fire the valley had ever seen. It just reduced half a block of downtown Waverly to, well, charred rubble, left this huge downtown eyesore.
Just devastating. What happened to that spot? How did the town recover from losing its centerpiece like that?
Well, in the immediate aftermath, the Waverly Free Library, which was right next door to the fire, they were forced to evacuate.
Understandable.
They pretty quickly started looking to rebuild, and their eyes landed on that now vacant lot.
Ah, makes sense.
And by 1983, a new chapter started. The site became home to the Elizabeth Square Apartments. It's a 6-story building for low-income elderly residents.
Okay, so housing.
Yes, and the Waverly Free Library got its new home right there on the first floor. So out of the ashes literally came housing and the library. Destruction, but then community resilience and rebirth.
A powerful cycle. Now, if we pull back and look at all these connections, Venata, Slaughter, Knapp, the buildings, the fires, the rebirth, are there still threads connecting back today?
Amazingly, yes. It shows how deep these roots run. For instance, Brad Zehr, who is the current owner of that 208 Chemung Street estate, the one Azariah Venata designed way back when.
Right, the wedding gift house.
He actually shares a common ancestor with Azariah J. Venata himself, Jacob Jansen of Etten, the one born back in Holland in 1632.
You're kidding.
Nope. It's just this incredible illustration of how history and family legacies just weave through the generations, subtly influencing the present, connecting people across centuries. It's not just history. It's still living in a way.
So what's the big takeaway here for you listening? This deep dive, it's really not just about, old buildings and names from the past.
Right. It's about the lasting impact, the enduring footprint that individuals and families leave on the fabric of a community.
From Azariah Venata's incredibly versatile building and design work
to the sheer dedication of the Knapp family, keeping that store going for generations.
and the whole dramatic life, death, and rebirth of the town clock block. These stories, they really show resilience, don't they? Ambition, too, and just the constant evolution of a town.
They remind us that behind every familiar street corner, every old building or historical marker, there are just layers and layers of human stories.
Stories waiting to be discovered. It shows how the past is, quite literally built into our present.
We've really peeled back some layers of Waverly's past today.
Sure.
From the hands that, designed the buildings to the families who ran the businesses inside them, who witnessed landmarks rise and fall.
It really is a testament to those cycles, isn't it? Creation, destruction, and then hopefully rebirth. It defines so many communities.
It really does.
Which kind of brings us to a final thought. What unseen stories, what hidden connections might exist within the familiar landmarks of your own community? What might you find if you decided to take a deep dive into the buildings and the families that shaped your town's history?
Maybe it's worth looking a little closer the next time you're walking around.
Yeah, we really encourage you to look closer at the world around you, uncover its hidden histories. You might be surprised what you find.